Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dust Sleeves, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with Bones06.
How's it going?
Dad Level Podcast.
Hello, programs. Man, I can't even get that right.
DanCavDragon.
How's it going?
MC Shark 7.
Hey everyone.
And Bargain Bin Hoba.
It is not morphin time. It is not clobbering time. It's time to hobo up.
As always, sleeve it or leave it. First title, Forza Horizon 5. Bones, sleeve it or leave it.
Sorry, bruh. I'm gonna have to say screw that one.
Dan, sleeve it or leave it.
I wouldn't necessarily sleeve this game, but it is an excellent game. Probably one of the best games I've played on Xbox.
Dad Level.
It's a pass.
MC Shark.
Yeah, I would sleep it. I heard that Forza games are really good.
And Bargain Bin.
I would leave it. I'm just not into simulation racers, so I'm going to pass on this one.
Next title, Farming Simulator 19. Dad Level.
Nope.
Bones.
You don't want my answer.
Dan.
Yeah, it's an easy pass for me.
Bargain Bin.
There's only one farming simulator I would play, and that's Harvest Moon, and I barely touched that. Why would I even consider this one? Leave it in the field and let someone else plow it.
MC Shark.
Nah, I'd pass.
Next title, Ace Combat 0, PlayStation 2. Mark. MC Shark.
I'm gonna pass on this. I never really got into the Ace Combat games.
Bargain Bin.
I'm going to ditto that answer, but also I prefer more arcadey than sim.
Dan.
Yeah, I've never played any of these Ace Combat games, so I'll have to pass.
Bones.
Yes.
Dad Level.
Yeah, I would. I would
Yeah,
sleeve that one.
All right.
Dad Level.
Yeah, I would sleeve it too. Probably 3D pop it.
Nice.
And last title, Street Fighter 5 for PlayStation 4. Dan.
Street Fighter is always a safe bet, so yeah, go ahead and sleeve it.
Bones.
Fuck no. It's a PS4 one. If it was a different one, I would say yes.
Dad Level.
Yes, I would 3D pop it as well.
Bargain Bin.
Definitely sleeve it. Street Fighter is one of the few fighting games I'm into. Well, that's a lie, but sleeve it. Long story short, sleeve it.
MC Shark.
Yeah, I would sleep it. You can't go wrong with Street Fighter.
Street Freighter?
Fighter. Street Fighter.
Does anybody know what these games have in common?
They have like special controllers.
Pretty much. Yep. That was the whole reason behind this sleeve or leave it.
Farming Simulator has a controller to it.
What's that?
Farming Simulator has a tractor controller or something.
That's what I was
No,
wondering.
it's just a you can use a controller for it, like a special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Driving.
it like a pitchfork or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you can use a racing wheel probably for a farming simulator too. Honestly,
Why?
I don't know why you would want to, but
Yeah. I guess if you're just that dedicated, why stop at that point?
I know, right? I mean, you're already driving a tractor. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, if I ever try it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know if it works.
Yeah. That would be a fun podcast in and of itself, actually.
All right.
I just don't know why people would want to play a farming simulator unless it was something fun.
Like Harvest Moon, like I said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know.
How about this? Get your ass out there and plant yourself a real fucking garden.
Yep.
Or I could not do that. It's too much work.
On that note, guess that box art.
I know the answer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know the
Someone
answer.
What was that?
Silent Hill.
Yep, that was the first one.
Oh, nice. I've never played those.
I never would have got that.
Me neither, yeah.
I was thinking horror movie the whole time I'm looking at it.
Second
I
one.
played the game a lot.
Well, I know the franchise for this one. I'm going to guess VGDS on the SNES.
No,
It's a
but
really Stimpy game.
yeah,
but
it's
I don't know which
definitely
one.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know which game.
It's on the Genesis. I'll give you that.
Huh. I don't know then.
I don't know if I have that or not.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think I do.
Yeah.
I think the
we're
only
finally-
Ren and Snippy I have is on Super Nintendo.
I think we've finally been stumped.
Well, there
No,
was
we-
Vidiots, there's Buckaroos, there's what the hell's the other one?
That's the other one.
Oh, jeez.
Is that what this is?
No,
Oh.
Well,
that's the
I-
one. That's the one you're missing. The other one.
That's literally called the other one?
No,
Yeah,
it's not literally called the other one.
But it's a hint that he has this game, I guess.
Yeah, I have
I'm,
no idea.
I'm gonna be mad when you say the name. I have a feeling.
It starts with an I.
I will kill you, Stimpy. I don't know.
Starts with an I. It's not idiots.
Ren and Stimpy show. I'll give you the next word, Stimpy's, and then that last word starts with an I.
Invention.
Yes, sir. There you go.
What was it?
Stimpy's invention.
Oh, nice. Good on him for inventing something, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have that. That doesn't even really sound that familiar to me.
I was never allowed to watch this show growing up.
You missed out.
Yeah, my mom disagrees.
Yeah, it's not for kids.
Really racy back then.
Yeah. Rocco's Modern Life was similar, but I think Ren and Stimpy was that little bit worse.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
All right.
All right, Bones.
All right, folks, let's move on to Sleeve of the Month. This month we've got Brothers Forge Gaming version 3 of their Dust Sleeve.
Oh, wow.
That is cool.
How many versions are they up to? Are they on 3 now?
Yeah, they're on 3.
Man,
I'm about to be on 3 myself, actually.
Yeah,
nice.
that is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody is interested in buying one of these sleeves, contact Chris and he will accommodate.
I'm putting Duck Hunt in it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. He's and notice they're holding.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
what they're holding. Oh, incorporating
see
it
what
even
you-
more.
I see what you did there. That was very clever.
I was gonna say Minesweeper. You know, if it was a physical release.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this podcast is all incorporated with the theme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, we will. Before long, we will get to the theme.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
Funny.
All right, franchise of the month. Yeah, again, goes along with the theme of the podcast, which is controllers. And so what we have here are some. I really focused on the NES and the Genesis. It looks like, but some of the more notable odd peripherals for the. For the 8 and 16.
Total opposite of what I did.
And just curious if you can see at the bottom, I have 2 questions. Has anybody played any of these games with their intended controller? And 2, what's the craziest controller you have used, if not shown here? Some of this might be, you might answer some of the questions in the actual podcast, but that's fine. We'll get to that eventually. But let's start at the top. I know, Bones, you have a few of these things. Just curious if you've ever...
So this isn't strictly where we're focusing on Genesis and Nintendo. You're saying this is the whole broad spectrum.
Yeah, but I just showed some examples here of some of the wacky controllers, and curious if anybody's used them at all.
I have everything on this list except for the activator. So
Oh, wow.
everything you have in the picture I own.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna go right off the bat and say the craziest controller. You're asking about the craziest controller now, or you said we'll do that later on?
You can answer now. I mean, you might bring it up again later, but
That's fine.
Yeah.
You can do it now if you want.
Well, yeah, the craziest controller is going to be the Steel Battalion one.
Oh
But
yeah.
I have used all of these. I don't currently own a Menacer anymore, and I that's the only other thing that's missing in my collection that I want to get. I'm not worried about the activator because honestly, like, look at the 3 games that are up there: Mortal Kombat, Comic Zone stuff. How do you better give me a controller because that thing would never work, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially
But
Comic
yeah,
Zone.
I still
Oh,
have my
ouch.
Super Scope and everything else, and I've used them all. Power Glove, nightmare. It's a neat novelty for about 5 minutes, and then you're good with your fill. The U-Force, same deal. You're good for about 5 minutes of Punch Out and maybe a little bit of Top Gun. But other than that, yeah, you'll be over that really quick. The CDI games were pretty cool with the light gun. Sega CD ones, same deal. They're not bad. It's hard to say that they still age good, but they're still fun to play. It's just you can't sit there like you did as a kid. I can't sit there for 5 hours with the Super Scope anymore and keep playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I've played a lot of these. A lot of them. Plus,
Yeah, I put those 3 games for Activator because those 3 games were specifically designed with that in mind. Like, that special, like, it was designed to be compatible with that accessory. I've never tried it, but
I don't
and then-
want to try it.
yeah.
I don't either.
And then
I would try it.
U-Force,
If I had it, I would try it.
when they were selling the U-Force, they were saying, yeah, you can use it to play Mike Tyson Punch Out and Punch the Screen, or you can use it comes with like a flight yoke you can use to play flying games, and they're like, you can use this to play Top Gun. That's why I showed those games. But yeah, I never really played it myself. But how about you, Dad Level? Any of these accessories ever make it across your systems?
Let's see. Probably the only thing on here that I actually owned back in the day, because I usually played some of this stuff at other people's houses, was the Zapper. I mean, I had the Justifier, so for like the Sega CD and the 32X stuff, I would have used that instead of the Minister. But I just picked up the Minister this past weekend.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Actually, never got to mess around with the Super Scope. But played the Power Pad. Never played the U-Force at the Activator. But it's funny though, some of these games I played in the arcade, and I would have preferred to play them in the arcade versus on the home console. You know, Mad Dog McCree and Terminator 2 are to be pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I've actually played Mad Dog McCree. It's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. You got to learn the pattern.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd rather play Mortal Kombat with the arcade stick anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I have like the Zapper, and I would like to get a Menacer down the road because I do have a Super Scope, and I have all the Super Scope games. There's some games that had like a Super Scope feature that I don't have, but some of those games are kind of pricey. I'm like, nah, I don't want to collect for them. But I would like to hook it up again since I have a CRT now. I just haven't gotten around to doing so. But yeah, I remember when my cousin got that back in the day, the Super Scope. We had a blast playing that. So I still would like to hook it up at some point and see if it still holds up to the day. I mean, I doubt it will, but I'm sure I get some fun out of it.
Yeah, I don't have a Super Scope. I never had one. I never actually played one. That's on my list of things to get. Every year I go to Too Many Games, I see them on sale in box, and I'm like, maybe I should pick one up, but I haven't yet. So maybe
how much
we'll
is one for right now?
Do it.
I like it. I always had fun with it.
I mean, the ones I've seen on sale, they have them in box complete, and it's like $100. I'm sure you get them cheaper on eBay for but yeah. Hopefully, I don't know if it's $100 is a good price for that or not, but right. And bargain bin.
So wait, did you skip Empty Shark?
No, he just went.
No.
My apologies. So the only one I actually own on here is this Nintendo Zapper, but me being the genius I am, I cut the cord out because I was going to use it as like an accessory on my YouTube channel, and then now I have a TV that can use it and an NES, and I didn't have either of those when I got it, so big derp on that one. But as far, I've never actually. Well, I played some of these actual games like Comic Zone and Mortal Kombat, but I've never actually owned any of these other accessories. And frankly, I don't want to. Honestly, I will prefer a controller forever. And as for the strangest controller, okay, follow me on this one. It was a PS3 controller specifically for racing games, so it got rid of a lot of the buttons. Like the left analog stick was just a little thing you turn side to side for the steering wheel, and it like had little notches and stuff instead of buttons. And I'll just have to send you guys a picture so we can post it when the video's up. But the thing is, the L2 button was stuck, and for what the games actually could use, it worked fine. But no, I don't want to have that kind of specific controller for one kind of game that I barely play to begin with. So no, I wound up selling it.
That sounds vaguely familiar. You have to give us a picture of that.
Yeah, I'll drop one in when we finish. Yeah.
Yeah, and all right, Chris, and you must have some of these accessories, right?
Yeah, I have Zapper. I have the power pad. I have the Super Scope, but I don't have the sensor to actually use the Super Scope.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not that expensive to get.
Yeah, I mean, I got it from my neighbor years ago, like when I was a kid, and he forgot to give me the sensor, and I never went after it, and I still have that Super Scope, and I never got the sensor for it. So eventually, I'll get the sensor.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the extent of what I have. I don't really have much more than that. I do have the light gun for the Master System, courtesy of Dan and Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have an oddball thing, but I'll talk about that later.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, yeah, it's just a little taste of controller talk here, and we'll definitely get more into it in the next segment.
All right. Today's topic was brought to you by DanCavDragon.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
And obviously, as you guys already should know, it's about controllers and accessories. There's quite a bit of questions here, but a lot of these are not in-depth answers, so it should go fairly quick.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, so let's start. Number one, first-party versus third-party controllers. Is there a third-party controller that was better than the first-party controller? Bones.
Scared.
The only thing that can come to mind, because really, in the end, the third parties I've used over all the years just either one don't hold up or just flat out suck. But the retro fighters for the 64, I think that one's definitely a much better third party than the original.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't like the
Oh,
original one,
definitely.
Yeah.
so that would be my pick.
Oh, that's
And
good call.
I have a wireless one, and it's great.
Nice. Mine's wired.
Yeah.
That level.
So it depends on the type of controller. It also depends on when we're talking about third party, because early third party sucked back then, and now it's pretty good. You know, you look at like Hori fight sticks that are better than anything that the first party can do.
Yeah, I think this was just an in general. So
Yeah,
Sure,
but
yeah.
it doesn't matter what age,
Yeah, I prefer first party. I lost a Tony Hawk 4 tournament because of I got stuck with a third party controller that was broken.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me go home to go get my own controller.
Ugh. I think it was rigged.
It was.
DanCav.
Yeah, it seems like first party controllers are always the ideal controller to have, and third parties don't match up. But I agree with Bones that the retro fighter controllers are very good. In 64's case, I think better. The 8-Bido controllers, those are the wireless controllers that you can get for a lot of systems these days. They make them backward compatible, so you can get like an SNES controller that's wireless and stuff. So any of the old controllers that are now wireless because of from 8-Bido, I think are good ones.
Yeah, I agree too.
MC Shark.
Yeah, I would prefer first party, but there is some third-party controllers that are really good. Like I currently have an Afterglow Xbox controller I use for my Series X, and I love that thing. I don't even use the controller that came with it. It's still in the box. I never even took it out of the box. I've just been using this controller, and it works really well. And like other people mentioned, the Retro Fighters and the 8-bit Duke controllers, they're pretty solid as well.
Market Ben.
Yeah. So kind of gonna ape off Bones and DanCav, the 8-bit Do and the Retro Fighters. Those are really good controllers, but I have a specific controller that I personally own that I use more than the first party. And I mentioned this in a previous podcast. Is the Spider-Man
controller. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a picture down in the chat when we're done here so you can show it. It's a bigger controller. It feels really nice in my hands. It has the turbo button. I don't care if that's cheating. I don't care. I'll play my games however I please. Thank you very much. But yeah, in general though, I usually go first party. But let's be honest, third party sometimes gets it right, especially more nowadays than before.
Yeah.
All right. Question 2: joystick versus D-pad. Which do you prefer, Bargain Bin?
I think it kind of depends on like the game. Like for fighting games, I usually prefer the D-pad because when I was in college, I was on the esports team and I did the fighting games, and I never got that much better, but I did learn some neat tricks. Like quarter circling is easier with the D-pad than the stick, at least for me. But in general, I will forever prefer the stick, unless in certain situations otherwise.
MC Shark.
I would say, like what Bargain Bin said, it depends on what game you're playing, but I prefer like the thumbstick with games now.
DanCav.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with this question. Is like, how many people actually use the thumbsticks versus the D-pads, or vice versa? I grew up in arcades, and I grew up on the Atari, so yeah, joystick was my first option back then. But it's funny when NES came out and they had the D-pad controller for the first time. I looked at that and I was like, what the heck is this stupid controller? Like, it doesn't look like it works at all. It's just flat. There's nothing to hold on to. But once I got used to it, that's my preferred controller now, D-pads. I always go back to the D-pad, even if there's with a thumbstick or a joystick option.
Yeah, my first console was the N64, so maybe that's why I love the stick.
That level.
Yeah, it really depends on the game. I mean, even fighting games, most fighting games are in a 2D plane, even though they're 3D. So the D-pad's always going to be the best unless you're, actually at the arcade playing with a joystick or something like that. But I prefer the D-pad.
Bones.
I'm going to go off of generations. So basically anything from PlayStation up, I am definitely cool with having a joystick, but anything from that down, I want a D-pad. I'm sure everybody's seen or has tried the abominations over the years of where they try to do joysticks on older games, and
yeah,
usually was a joke, like the 3DOs one where you put a little stick on the top and shit. And,
oh yeah.
I have a certain age that when you get to that mark, then it's joystick from there on out.
Yeah.
All right. 3: how many buttons is enough or too many? Bones.
Well, I'm old school, and I like my A-B, up, down, left, right. I like to start. So, I mean, that's a good number of buttons for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Super Nintendo is one of the best controllers too, but I would say the max would be like a PlayStation or an Xbox One, like those types, that amount of buttons, because anything over that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like if we get down later on, I don't know if I'll talk about it in a specific question, but just the sheer number of buttons on Steel Battalion almost makes that unplayable to the point where you don't even know what the hell you're doing. So there's too many buttons. It's not quite as fun all the time.
That level.
I mean, I don't really have an opinion on this one whatsoever. I just get used to whatever they give me.
No problem. Dan.
Yeah, I'm old school. Like, I think 6 buttons is my max. A, B, C, X, Y, Z for like Street Fighter, and after that, I think it's too many. I've found with modern games, when they go to L3 and all these things on the back side of the controller, triggers and whatnot, I always like need a cheat sheet or something to look at to like, what am I doing? What are these controllers? Or I have to pull up the menu screen and what's that? Or the thing is, because if I don't play games all the time, if I put it down and don't play it for a couple months, I'll come back and have no idea how to play the game again because the controllers are too complicated. So for me, there is a limit about to many buttons. I think 6 for me is the max I like.
MC Shark.
I would say what Bones said about this being the current gen, like Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 controllers are the max I think that they need to do.
Bargain bin.
Yeah, I agree with the PS2 and the Xbox stuff, but also the Atari Jaguar controller had a number pad. That is no, you don't need that many buttons. Yeah, honestly, so I agree. PS2 / whatever you want to call it, that amount of buttons, the perfect amount anymore. What are you even doing? Go back to the drawing board.
All right. 4 fighting games. 6 button layout or 4 buttons plus triggers. Bargain bin.
I refuse to buy a separate controller that I can only use with that one game just for one kind of game. So I will stick with the 4 button controller and triggers. Thank you very much.
MC Shark.
Yeah, 4 buttons plus triggers is fine for me.
DanCav.
Yeah, that's kind of like my last question. 6 button controller. My favorite is the Sega Saturn and the 6 button Genesis controller. I like because it goes well with the fighting games. I never got used to the trigger thing, but that seems to be the winning layout, like especially with the PlayStation controller these days. So we know which one people prefer, I guess.
Dad level. No preference.
Yeah, I have no preference because I have an arcade stick and I have regular controllers too. So it's whatever. I mean, it's usually I have my friends over and we play fighting games. So I usually have those things as whatever they want to play with.
Bones. Bones, you good?
Man down. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm a 4 button trigger guy.
Okay. Number
I
5.
forgot I had the damn thing muted. I was actually talking.
Hey, it's all good. Number 5.
The mute button is obviously 1 button too many.
He's talking shit now, Bones.
Damn.
You gonna let him talk shit like that?
You know what, Dan? I'm gonna go update Discord right this second.
Yeah, he needs a button. He needs to go like this.
A button to ban you at. Oh yeah, the soundboard.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, number 5. Does Rumble DualShock add to your gameplay? Dan.
It's funny. I thought when it first came out, I guess it was N64 with the Rumble pack. I thought that was the stupidest, most gimmicky thing, and I thought it would never catch on. But I guess I was wrong. And in certain games like Ocarina in Time, where it would rumble when you would get over the gem, what do you call those gems, whatever. It was important and they incorporated it well. And for the DualShock, like games like Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1, they did a really good job of incorporating the rumble. There's that one scene where you're like using your sniper rifle and you're like shaking and you have to take the medicine to stop it shaking and stuff. So I thought it was really cool how they incorporated rumble in this game. So when done correctly, it definitely adds to the gameplay.
Bargain bin.
I agree. It kind of depends on the game and how it's incorporated. Like in iNinja, for example, when you're rolling the heart to the giant robot, like your shoulder goes dum, 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 like actual heartbeat. And also in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, it incorporated really cool because like it vibrates to the beat of the gun you're shooting. And then in a Sackboy's Adventure, whatever it's called, that's just sounds so wrong, Sackboy. But anyway, Sackboy's Adventure, like the different sides of the controller rumble based on which foot is hitting the ground. So the left side rumbles when his left foot is hitting the ground, and that is actually really cool. It's like not necessarily essential, I wouldn't say. And I think I don't know if it's on here, but speakers in the controller can add things too. I think that's kind of cool.
Bones.
Well, I mean, for me, it doesn't really add anything to it. I mean, there are specific games, like you guys were saying, that utilize that vibration. Like, it's been so long since I played Manhunt. Did Manhunt do that too? I know lots of sneaking around games is where they utilize that a lot.
I haven't.
It,
No.
it is a neat thing, but for me, it doesn't really do anything. Like, everybody was all oohing and ahhing when they got the PS3 and the controller lit up in the front. And I was like, what did he fucking do?
And that PS4, I don't think the PS. I don't remember the PS. My apologies. I'll shut up now.
That level.
I mean, it's an evolution of the direction for gaming, so I don't mind it at all. I'd rather have it built in than to be some kind of add-in, like we were getting with the 64 back then. But I do think it does. It helps with the immersion. I mean, it depends on which game you're playing, but it can do a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to do from the visual side.
Yeah.
Empty Shark.
Yeah, I think it adds to the gameplay. And for N64, I would definitely rather have the Rumble Pack installed over the memory pack.
Oh yeah, that was part of this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious, like, by default, when you have your N64 controller, do you have a rumble pack in, or do you have the memory pack in there?
I actually have a thing that can do both. Actually, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can do a dual. You can do them both at the same time.
Oh man.
Mine's always the memory card, never the rumble pack.
Yeah.
You were right too. I said PS3. It's PS4 I was thinking.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool anyway, because like if you're playing a survival horror game, you can tell what like level you are with your health and not have to go into your menu system to determine that.
Yeah, like
I think playing Grand Theft Auto is what turned me off to it, because the fucking thing was always going red and blue, and it was like, all right, this is kind of annoying.
Yeah. Also, Spyro did that too. Whatever color Sparks was is also on your controller.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, motion controls. Game changer or fad? Bargain bin.
Mostly game changer, but sometimes, or actually no, I said that wrong. Mostly fad. A lot of games did not need motion controls. I mean, a little bit here and there is fine, but when you got, like, for example, Crash of the Titans on the Wii, which was like my first Wii game, one of the giant monsters, you had to like beat your chest like a gorilla with the Wiimote nunchuck and then slam the ground. And that sounds like it would be fun for like 5 minutes while you're playing that game. Some games do it really well, but most of the time it's just a fad that's why most of the time I avoid Wii ports and just go for physical buttons.
Bones.
Oh, well, I'm going to go with it's more of a fad. I mean, did it kind of change the games? Yeah, a little bit. The motion controls are a big fad, but I don't think it changed that much. I mean, when it comes down to it, most people would prefer having a normal controller. Like, the reason I have to say that I like it is because one of my favorite games is Skyward Sword.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the controls, when I played through the game, some of the stuff having to do with the motion controls, and you fail, and you realize that if you just gave me a joystick and shit, I could easily get through it. It made it a little more challenging, but I would always stick by not having motion controls. I don't like being forced to use motion controls, and they did that shit with Breath of the Wild, where some of the puzzles you have to tip the controller and make the ball go where the hell you want it to go down the maze. And like, I don't like being forced to do that. And
yeah, I agree.
To me, it's just a fad, so they shouldn't just put it in there. Like, it fell off. Yeah, it was a great thing when it came out, but that's what everything is in life. Nintendo was great at one time. Now it's 30 years later. Is it good? Yes, but it don't have the following like it did back in 1980.
Fair.
Empty Shark.
I think it's a game changer for like VR because it makes you more immersive in the environment. But when it comes to like regular consoles, I would say it's a fad.
That level.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this question with a question. Are we just talking about the Wii and its motion controls? Or are we talking about like the 6-axis controller for the PS3? Because there's a difference between utilizing the controller to do certain things, like you think of David Cage games, similar to what Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, even in Metal Gear Solid, the one, damn it, Guns of the Patriots. There was things that were utilized with that controller being able to move things that you can get better precision, or I can't even say it.
Precision.
Yes, precision on like aiming and things like that with that controller, because like you could kind of peek around a corner without having to like use your controller button to pop snake around the corner to look at something. There's it's it is very immersive. I don't think it's necessarily a fad, but I think it was a fad on the Wii. I think the Wii was a fad. I don't like that console. I shouldn't be forced to have to do motion controls for every game. And Skyward Sword is the only Zelda game I've never beaten because I don't want to play with motion controls on that game. Give me the option to play with the controller.
Can't you do that now with the Switch version?
It's still there. It's still there. And I would even say, like, I didn't even play Metroid Prime 3 Corruption because of the fact I didn't want to play with motion controls. It's like, no, I just want to play the game. I'm too old to be doing this nonsense. But, we'll talk about some other, like, peripherals that were really cool for motion, but I agree with what Mark said about, like, VR. That's perfect for it because playing Half-Life Alyx with, your Oculus or the whatever Steam's VR is, it's amazing.
DanCav.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a fad based on the fact that like Microsoft and Sony dipped their hands in there with the PlayStation Move and Kinect, and then they kind of went away from that. So they definitely saw that there wasn't much future in it. But I will argue that it's a game changer for Nintendo because the Wii really brought them back into popularity, sold a million consoles, millions of consoles, and made them relevant again. Even though the control thing is gimmicky and a fad, and but it was game changer for them, and getting popular again. And even on the Switch, they still incorporate a lot of motion in their games with the controllers and stuff. Not to the extent of the Wii, but I think they still obviously see a lot of value in that. So for Nintendo as a game changer, I think overall though it's a fad, and I don't think gamers with that think that highly of it anymore.
All right, number 7: dance pads, track pads, fitness boards, fitness rings. Dan.
Basically, yeah. Does anybody play any games that incorporated these things? I played Dance Revolution. I played, the Wii Fit, and then the most recent thing, the Ring Fit. They're all pretty fun games, gimmicky. It goes back to the whole Nintendo being like novel in some of their controllers and schemes and stuff. So, yeah, I did play a few of these games. I thought they were pretty fun.
Does anybody else have anything to add for that?
Just enjoy playing DDR for the dance pad. So
I never played any of them.
I might force my parents to try Ring Fit Adventure for when they can't go to the gym.
Bones.
I have them all as nice collection pieces.
I have heard of people saying they lost weight playing Ring Fit, so maybe there's something to that one.
All right. 8 light guns. Which system had the best light gun rifles versus pistols? Any accessory that holds up today? Bargain bin?
I think the obvious answer that's most relevant today is the the Wii remote, and they give you little gun attachments for that. That's the one I've used the most. I also have the PlayStation Move rifles, and I haven't actually used them yet, but I am waiting for that day. But I usually prefer pistols because they're easier to hold up for long periods. Just go pew pew and stuff. And for the rifles, I think are more fun in the arcade than at home, but I have never actually done a rifle at home that I'm aware of. And as for accessories hold up today, I think the Wii Zapper is kind of a cool accessory to have for those light gun games on the Wii.
MC Shark?
Yeah, I would say the Wii was the best for light guns because you can use it on current televisions, and you can use it on CRTs as well. You don't have to have. You can. It's not like you can only use it on a CRT, and it still holds up to today, I believe. But also, like with the Nintendo Zapper, I believe that still holds up if you have a CRT available and can still use it.
DanCav.
That's a good point. I mean, I didn't think about the Wii, but I kind of agree that they did have a lot of good ways to play light gun games with the Wiimote and all the different accessories that you attach to it. Games that you might not have thought would be possible on TVs of today. So that's a good answer, though. The Wii having probably the best options for light gun games. But for me personally, I was thinking more based on my past NES, Genesis era, the Zapper games. That was definitely a fad back then, light guns and the TV. I think the Time Crisis GunCon games, those were probably the best games that I liked playing with light guns, point and blank, and those type of games. And I will say between rifles and pistols, the one rifle that's really cool is the silent scope rifle that you'd play on the Genesis, because that actually has a zoom function that is you use to play the game, and that that's hard to do on a pistol. So
Yeah.
Bones.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with Dan on a lot of it. The silent scope rifle is pretty cool. Definitely the Namco guns for Time Crisis on PS1, and you can use it on PS2 and stuff, are probably my top pistol that I would use. I like it better than all the other ones. The Zapper, the Menacer, all of them. Like, it's just all around. It's just maybe got a lot of nostalgia too. And I have a lot of Chinese ones too for like OG Xbox that have a recoil and shit in it that kicks back, but it'll tell you what, it gets really annoying listening to the gun go clack 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 clack. So like that still is going to be the Namco. As far as the rifles go, I'm gonna have to go with probably the PS3, because like bargain bin, I have a bunch of move controllers for that are rifles. And I haven't had luck having two of them going at the same time, but one of them I can have going at the same time, and they're neat military style ones. They were pretty expensive when I bought them. I've only ever used them a handful of times. One's shaped like an AK. That one's not really. I think that was a Hyperkin. That one's not really anything special, but I have like these two military ones that are really cool.
Is that the one that came?
I would think that you could use it for like heavy rain and stuff.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought to play a murder mystery game with a gun. That's new to me, actually.
I think that was the one. I'd have to get out the tablet, because when I bought the guns, I literally went out and I bought every game that I could find that was light gun compatible with on the box.
Yeah, because you could get the Move controllers with the replica MP5 or whatever it was for the PS3 for SOCOM, because my dad has it.
Yeah, I think, well, the game I played the most with the PS3 Move gun was Time Crisis. What the hell was the one they made on that?
And then
Dead Storm Pirates.
Yeah. That was what I played the most of on it. But I bought like a whole bunch of different ones when I bought the actual rifles, because I thought it was cool. I went on a light gun binging spree and I bought all sorts of Namco ones. It's literally everything. 3DO ones.
That level.
I think the GunCom, from Namco is the best. I think we had some really, really good shooters on the PS1, 2, and 3. I think the third GunCom had like this weird sensor bar that you had to put on there that worked for the PS3, and it didn't work that well.
Yeah. Also, wasn't there like that camera that had to find the lights on the PlayStation Move?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy Fire was the name of the game, guys. Sorry,
Oh,
not Heavy Rain.
Yeah, that would be interesting playing that with a gun.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
But I would prefer the pistols over the rifle. I never really messed with any of the rifle stuff. I mean, even in their arcades, I didn't mess with. I mean, it was like what Time Crisis, Place 911, 1 and 2. I mean, you had even House of the Dead was a gun.
Number 9, music games. Any specific controller or accessory used? Bones?
I really don't have anything to put in on this except for like the bongos for the GameCube. I mean, yeah, I love Rock Band and stuff, but I don't really have too much of an input. Most of them are just novelties. Rock Band was fun, because you had multiple instruments, but everything else that came out, yeah, nah. Karaoke machine, bongos, nah. I'm not into the music part of it, really.
I mean, because Guitar Hero and Rock Band, you know, they're obviously the guitar, but they also had drum sets. They had the keyboard. I was just curious if people actually went all out and got all those accessories to play, or would
I have them all, and I've played them all, but I have a problem going back to them anymore. Like, I don't get as much enjoyment from them as I did back in the day. Now, maybe if all of us were together and we were all playing the stuff, one guy was on drums, 2 guys are on guitar, well, then, okay. Maybe then we'd have a little more fun, and it would be a little more enthusing.
All right, Bones, bring a shit to the house.
Dude, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not as fun to sit there by yourself and try to play the guitar when you haven't played it in 10 years, because you are all over the place.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything for music?
I really
games?
don't have anything to add myself. It was just we had the Guitar Hero with the guitars, and I think I sang one time in a Rock Band thing, and then someone hit me in the face with the guitar, and I decided I didn't want to play anymore.
I think one cool moment we had was like my buddy put 2 of the pedals on for the drums, so he could do the double pedal for Metallica songs because he's a big Metallica fan in Rock Band. So that was pretty cool watching him do that.
Yeah. You know, I don't play guitar, but I liked the way playing these games made me feel like I was playing guitar. You know, it had 4 buttons, and made me feel like I was a guitar player. You know. So,
Yeah.
My brother used to play Guitar Hero, and now he plays actual guitars.
I've heard that. I heard people,
wow.
yeah, got inspired by playing Guitar Hero to play real guitar now.
Anything else for that one? No? All right.
I have to go with Dan's answer.
That makes you feel like playing guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, like the drums were, because I was a drummer, and the drums were actually drums. I mean, like you played the real drum part. You know, it was dumbed down a little bit, you know, depending on the level. And then the keyboard, from what I understand, it's a real keyboard. So I mean, you have to actually play the notes and stuff. So, so the guitar was the only part where I feel like that was dumbed down a little bit.
All right, number 10. 3D games, fat or cool? Dan?
Yeah, this is kind of like the 3DS, I guess, and it's not really a controller, but I guess the 3DS is kind of like a controller. But whether or not, you know, did you ever use the 3D function on 3DS, or 3D games in general with with the glasses, like the Sega Master System, or even PlayStation 3? I think had 3D capability. And then, so any of these things, I'll go first. But definitely fad. I mean, 3D TVs don't even exist anymore, hardly. So I think it was cool at the time, but definitely a fad.
Anybody else? Fad? Cool?
Are we talking
I would
like?
agree with Thad.
Yeah, it was a fad.
Are we talking like games that play like Crash Bandicoot 3D video games, or games that like pop out of your screen kind of 3D?
The illusion of things popping out of your screen, 3D, not
Like, there's an actual 3D TV where you can play some of these games. Like, PlayStation 3 has 3D games, like Batman is one of them. You can actually play it on a 3D TV, and you can see it coming out of the screen.
Yeah, well, for me, though, I have glasses, so the glasses would just kind of wouldn't go with my actual glasses, so I'm going to say no. It's total fad. I never use a 3D on my 3DS, and now I have a 2DS, and I don't miss a 3D at all.
All right.
Most 3D glasses are made to fit with people with
Yes,
glasses.
they are.
Yeah, that my wife wears them. So
I've never had any that fit my glasses too well because I have the big, really boxy ones, the nerd vision I call them.
all right, number 11, VR and the lead up to it. We did an entire podcast already, but your thoughts? Anybody?
I've only ever used one headset that actually fit over my glasses, and it was really cool. But it's not something I see myself playing all the time.
Bones? Anything?
It's a fad.
Yeah.
It's literally a fad. Like, dude, let's be honest here, man. Unless you're like somebody who has more than ample time and doesn't work for a living, possibly, who the hell wants to go to work all day and then come home and dance around like a heava hava in their living room? I mean, it's fun at times, but it's definitely a straight up novelty.
Anybody else?
I'd agree, but PlayStation VR 2 just came out, you know? So it's...
Oh, here we go.
The concept is there, but I mean, you think about it, there's not a whole lot of good games that work with it. I mean, the only game that I've seen that works very well with it is Half-Life Alyx. Of course, I'm a Half-Life fan, but man, that game is amazing just playing it in VR. But everything else, it's not implemented well. I don't want to sit here and play Beat Saber. Play
no.
VR. But it is totally a fad.
Yeah, that's
We'll leave it at that. Because we did do a whole podcast on this already. It was just something quick, I guess Dan wanted to touch on. 12, analog versus digital input. Do you care? Notice any difference, Dan?
Yeah, this was when analog sticks started coming popular. Then you can switch between digital and analog controller sometimes. You know, do you care? Does that extra range of analog motion make a big difference to you? I don't have much opinion about this. I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on the game. But I don't play a lot of games where I need analog control, so it doesn't. I don't really care that much.
Does anybody care?
For me, the one thing that always drove me crazy was you have to very gently push the stick to sneak. I was never good at that. I would accidentally push it too far and stop sneaking, and then immediately get shot or whatever. Like in Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie, there's a part where you're in a cave and this caveman is sleeping, and you have to like sneak across this little bed of hay to be able to get to the thing behind him. But I never was able to get far enough to be able to do it. So what I would do, there's like torches, so I just jump in the torch, light Banjo's ass on fire, fly over, and get the thing that way. Did I have a scorched bear? I sure did, but I also had the thing I needed.
Any other input on that?
I use analog all the time because I do a lot of first-person shooters, third-person, modern gaming. Digital is always great for 2D fighting games. Sometimes it just depends, but I prefer both. Doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I kind of use
I'm
it
like
interchangeably. I prefer analog, but sometimes I prefer the digital for like fighting games, like we talked about. Excuse me.
Whatever is on is on.
Yeah.
13, headsets / voice. Do you use these? I'm
Yes.
pretty sure everybody uses them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm using one right now, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
you kind of have to use it.
Well, it's funny because like aside from my podcast, obviously, but like I don't play online games with people that much, So
Yeah,
I don't ever use my headset or voice functions when I'm playing games.
The last
Well-
voice chat sorry.
There's a really cool feature with headsets within gaming too. You think about the fact that if you're playing a military shooter,
You gotta
with a
hear.
headset,
You gotta hear.
you're gonna be able to- you gotta hear. You can hear an enemy coming.
You can hear footsteps.
Mm-hmm. It
That is
is
very
really
true.
crucial to be able to hear the sounds that are around you, especially if you're playing online multiplayer.
Yeah. So also the Nintendo Switch app on the phone has this cool thing where some certain games have like when you're playing it and it will know you're online, you can like be voice chatting over your phone with people also playing Animal Crossing. I've only done that like once or twice, but it's a cool thing to have, not have to go out and buy a headset when I can use this phone I already have.
Yeah.
That's cool. I never thought about, using a headset to enhance your gameplay. But I now that you mention it, I do notice there are games where they sometimes say use of a headset is recommended for this game, and I always ignore that.
That's so you
Yeah.
can hear
Playing scary
the
games too.
yes, so you can hear the subtle, like the real low sounds that in the gameplay. You're not going to hear them on the TV.
Yeah, and like that, and well, I still live at home, so my parents will still yell down the stairs for me, so I need to be able to hear that, or yeah, so.
Or if you have a baby, you know, you can have your headset on and not wake up your wife or child.
Yeah.
There was a crazy controller for the NES that was voice command, and so like instead of shooting
That was the
button-
controller I was going to bring up. Laser scope is called.
laser scope, yeah, you go bang, bang, bang,
You,
and
call,
then
you know, you say fire.
Yeah.
You say fire.
Fire.
I have
fire.
it. I still have it. That's very, very novelty. That's a novelty, big time.
Well, there was a PlayStation 2 game that used a headset where you got to navigate this girl through.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking
Yeah, I
about.
can't remember it either. But like, you're on a
SOCOM?
You're stuck in a,
Lifeline. That
yeah,
was
that's
it.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
oh, nice, yeah.
And a survival horror with your voice. No, thank you.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
And then Bones, your Seaman game used microphone for that one.
Yeah, that used a microphone.
All right.
What was even the point of that game? Was it like a pet simulator?
Something
Yeah.
about-
Yeah, that's basically all it is. You waste a month of your life making this thing breed, have babies, and then it talks shit to you. And even if you turn it on 10 years later, 20 years later, it will continue to talk shit to you.
where you been?
Yeah.
You're the
Uh,
gold one.
Yeah, I'm gonna not get Seaman for the Dreamcast. Thank you very much.
All right. 14. Accessories that were ahead of their time, underutilized, never realized potential.
You got me on this one.
Anybody?
Yeah. I have
Uh,
no idea.
Since it never came out, HoloLens. I like the whole like virtual reality, augmented reality kind of thing.
And I never.
Dan, you
thought
came
that.
up with this.
What's that?
Anything? You got
Yeah,
anything for this?
the one example I was thinking is the Wii U as a console. It was ahead of its time because basically the Switch is what it was supposed to be, so it was ahead of its time. It didn't do well, but they figured it out. They needed to make it more portable and less gimmicky and
But,
less
yeah.
bulky.
I was actually just playing my Wii U before the podcast. I was playing it in Wii mode, but
Mm.
Nobody
I'm gonna
plays
have to go with
Wii
that
U-
vest
Wii U
that
very
me
often.
and Dan bought.
Oh, the
What's
vest. The vest.
The vest, because
the
they
vest.
came out years and years ago, and now that the Woosher or Woofer vest that's out, so it's popular now more or less than it was years ago. They made one years ago.
I never heard of what you're talking about.
What's it called, Dan? The name of that the vest that we got for the Genesis
I
and
want to say
Super Nintendo?
it's Interact, right, or something like that.
Yeah, Interactor, I think it was called.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it was like
Don't worry, you're not missing anything really.
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, and then the one accessory I thought that was never utilized properly, but it was good. It just wasn't done. It was ahead of its time. Was the VMU unit for the Dreamcast? That little
Yep.
thing.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You could play your own little games on that too, like Zombie Revenge. You had these little mini games you could have
Yeah.
that play on that, and then unlock little cheats in the game.
Yeah,
They had one on PlayStation as well. I
Oh.
can't remember.
I think it was Japan only though.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it would be great for like playing sports games and calling like football plays and stuff like that, and I thought it was going to be a game changer. But then they replaced it with just like a memory unit. They put the memory thing, and you didn't even need you see the screen anymore. So that was kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, what about the Game Boy Color printer and the camera?
Oh yeah. I forgot about those. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ahead of its time, I guess.
I heard a guy like modded it, like mod the Game Boy camera to be like compatible with modern computers or something like that, and he took like a picture of a car driving in the mud, and it's actually fairly detailed.
Cool.
I don't remember exactly what that was. Also, apparently there's like a cartridge on the Game Boy that somebody made that's the Bible, so you can look up specific verses on your Game Boy.
Hmm.
Or you could just play Super Mario Land.
So then you can tell that preacher that's telling you to stop playing your video game, no, no, no. I got the Bible right here.
Still turn it off.
Yeah.
15. Driving, flying, tank games. Steering wheels, flight sticks, twin sticks. Any good ones? Bones?
The only one oh, sorry.
Ooh.
Well, Bones has his Steel Battalion thing, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I went to him
yeah.
first.
Time to
Yeah.
time to bash it.
Maybe say anymore. It's come on, Steel Battalion. Everybody should at least get to try it. That's my outlook on it. It's fun running
I
around
would
in the
like to
mech.
try
too.
it.
All right, give me a plane ticket to your house then.
But other than that, I would say some of the Ace Combat flight sticks and stuff that came out over the years, those are pretty cool.
All right, bargain bin.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah,
That's all
so
right.
so I heard obviously that's the Steel Battalion controller. There's like the Wii wheel that I funny thing is I have this flying game on the Wii that I got like at a thrift store sealed, and somebody said if you're going to play just the Wii remote, just use the Wii wheel for that. But there's another one coming to mind. The game is called Damage Inc. and it's like a arcade flight sim World War II. And supposedly it was made by Mad Catz, and they had a whole controller for it. You could use a standard controller if you wanted, but I'd never seen one in a while. I didn't know what it looks like. I think I bought the game at a thrift store, looked it up, and then I panicked because I thought you need the controller to play it, and then you can't return games to Goodwill when you buy them. So, but yeah, that's the only one I can think of aside from what things we've brought up already.
That level. Anything?
Yeah, I would just say the virtual. I mean, not virtual one. I wish there was a controller for like that game. Only the arcade had that special kind of controller. But the Steel Battalion, yeah.
Mark? MC Shark?
I would say like the driving games, like the steering wheels. I think they're pretty cool.
And Dan?
Not much to add. I mean, I do have the twin stick that Dad Level just mentioned about for virtual on. That's not bad.
All right, number 16, fishing games. Have you used a rod before? If so, how was it? Anybody?
Nope.
Nah,
I never did.
really go fish.
Bones?
I mean, I have like one or two for the Wii,
Oh, yeah, you
but
haven't
that's
used-
about
well,
it.
Yeah.
I think this was a Dizzy question because like he was the one he likes fishing games a lot. I think
Yeah, you're right. I think you might have a rod, actually.
we were talking about for the Dreamcast that
Yeah,
rock controller
yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Wasn't there one for the Xbox too? Because I know that had some fishing games.
Probably.
There's
Yeah,
one for like
they
every
did.
system.
Yeah.
The Genesis on up, they made fishing rods for.
I'd rather just go fishing and be bored in real life.
At least I can
Yeah.
catch dinner.
Yeah, catch dinner. 17. Name some crazy, silly accessories. Anybody?
I can think of one.
Go ahead.
The baby doll for babysitting mama. You have to
Oh,
shove
yeah.
the Wiimote in the back, and then if you decide to tap it, no, don't shake the baby. What are you doing? I will shake the baby if I want. It's not real. What's it gonna do?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
The one-handed RPG controller.
I never. What? Wait. What?
Oh yeah, is it for PlayStation 1?
Yeah, it was for PS1.
Yeah, I have that.
Oh, and also that racing PS3 controller I brought up earlier. I'll still drop a picture on that one.
The chainsaw Resident
Oh, yeah.
Evil 4 controller for the GameCube.
I've never seen that in the wild.
Yeah.
Good on that?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
18. Wired versus wireless. Does it really make a huge difference to you?
Not really.
All right.
Yeah,
I-
not
Bones.
really.
I prefer wired because I think you don't need batteries.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
It depends on the size of your gaming room, or if it's in your living room, how far are you away from the TV. It's not like when we were
Yeah.
kids back in the day, kind of like sitting on bean bags right in front of the TV.
I like wired only because there's you don't have to worry about charging the controllers all the time. I don't have to worry about pairing them. Mine don't seem to lose pairing because I don't play for like months at a time. And then yeah, we're in a, like a lot of my like early DualShocks don't work anymore because the rechargeable battery doesn't charge anymore, so I can't use them.
Yeah.
And then I guess I don't know if who plays fighting games, but I hear like, is there lag with like wireless controllers?
is.
I've
There's
not seen any.
latency between the inputs to the game. But it's most of the time the games, even if you're playing online, they have like this rollback feature. So like even if you put something in, it's going to roll back a little bit to kind of translate it into what you're doing. So there's no lag between either the controller or your connection between your opponent.
Yeah, I've never really seen it myself. Actually, it works fine for me.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it. It's in the background. It's not something you would see.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anybody else have anything else on that? No.
Nope.
All
Nah, I
right.
don't
19.
think so.
PC versus console, is mouse keyboard the one thing that distinguishes the two?
Yes.
No, actually, it is
No,
something
it's
more.
not. Yeah, it's the processor, the graphics card.
I was gonna say you could just say hardware is gonna be
Yeah,
like
the hardware is literally
Yeah, the hardware. I would
Does
agree
it-
with that.
There's another feature too, though, that the PC version has that the console games usually don't. The console command: just hit the tilt button, type TGM, and then you're invincible in Skyrim and Fallout, and nothing can hurt you, and you have infinite ammo. That's the only way to play it.
Yeah, it's easier to cheat on PC.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I would also say that you get more precision with the mouse and keyboard when you're playing first-person shooters than you would with a, controller.
I still prefer controllers, but I agree.
So I guess I was thinking, are console players missing out on anything if they don't play the PC version in terms of controller?
Nah.
Sounds like
Modding stuff, but not
Oh yeah.
controller-wise.
not really.
Yeah.
We even had a whole modding podcast. Yeah.
All right. That's it for that one, I guess.
Yeah.
20. Customization. Controller skins, variants, colors, build your own custom. Does this appeal to you? Collector worthy?
No.
A little bit, depending. Like, I actually sought out the Splatoon 3 OLED or the OLED case and controller, and I did design my own Xbox Lab controller. That I'll be damned if I knew where I put it, but yeah. But aside from that, not really.
I'm just happy to own the console. I don't need really a specific variant or skins or colors.
Well, it's kind of cool being able to have like a custom controller that no one else has.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
unique to you.
I mean, I like with my Afterglow Xbox controller. You can set the LED color to it,
Oh, that's cool.
so I like to change it from time to time.
But I know Xbox has those really high-end controllers, right? That are really expensive, and you can.
Yeah, the Elite controllers.
Yeah.
I was just curious if anybody was that into it that they got those.
And
No, I don't have any of them.
I'm looking at trying to get one for my dad just because of, what happened to his hand after that dude kind of did what he did. For him to play video games. He's wanting to really bad. So there's things that you can customize it so you don't actually have to use your thumbs. You can use your, your fingers and stuff within the
sorry
back
to hear
of the controller.
I'm sorry to hear about your father.
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, thank you. This happened like back in 2019. I just was, bringing an example because people could be crippled and not be able to play, and it adds another functionality where they can play that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
All right. 21. Which console had the best third-party controller gadget accessories? Anybody?
I'm just gonna say this: the more current generation, just because of where we are technology-wise. Like the third parties nowadays are just better. So I'm just gonna say a time frame, not specifically a console, because Xbox, PlayStation, they're all.
Pretty much.
There's definitely programmable button
Right.
controllers and everything else. So
Generation's probably better route than console.
Yeah. I agree with Bones on that.
Yeah.
I do too,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
agree
mean, I
with Burns as well.
I would only add maybe the Wii had like the biggest, widest range of everything because it was so wacky as a system. So it had all these gadgets and accessories, and I had like basic because it was motion control based. They had legitimate joysticks too because people wanted traditional controllers. So it had a wide range of stuff for that system.
Yeah.
but they were all plastic pieces that you just put the controller.
That's
Yep.
true.
Yep.
That's true.
You
Definitely
literally
going
you
to
can
it.
literally play the game without the thing that you're putting the controller into.
Even
so.
had Wii Motion Plus, that thing,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I
even built
remember when that came out. I was so mad because I didn't have it in the controller, and then I had to go out and buy the freaking attachment to put in the bottom of the controller.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys used them, but remember, like, people were complaining that they were slipping out of their hands and throwing them at the TV, so they came out with those rubber skins and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's why the joy.
That's their own damn fault. That's what the damn straps were.
Yeah. I always used them, and I never broke one TV.
I hit the ceiling fan a couple times.
My
I
brother
blew
did.
out a drop ceiling in a basement.
Yeah.
You go to the casual market, Of course, they're not used to holding on to things. They just throw it at any direction they're throwing their hands at.
When my kids were growing up, I made sure I put the straps on them. Believe me.
Yeah. Although there was one time the strap kind of made something worse. So I was playing the bowling game, and the Wii remote slipped out of my hand and hit me in the face. So I brought my hand down, and it hit me in the nuts. Other than that, yeah.
Then I woke up 2 hours later. What the hell happened?
I still won somehow, but
All right. 22. Third party only. Name some accessories the big companies didn't bother with leaving third party to handle.
Game Genies. Game
Yeah.
Sharks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Place,
Or-
yeah.
Cleaning cartridges.
Good?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
23. Arcade controls that were never really caught on at home.
I
Well-
think I meant like trackballs and spinners and those type of things.
There's one thing I can think of, but I'm not sure I should mention it because it's kind of a not safe for work kind of thing. Where the gun was a finger and you put it in something. I think it was it wasn't even in the United States. I don't think it was in a different country. I only saw a picture, and if I ever see that game, I'm gonna look at it and then I'm gonna keep on walking.
The thing is with the trackball and stuff, those are game specific. So, like, there isn't that many games that are going to be utilizing that for it to really, I would think, catch on at home.
Yeah.
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 All right, next one. Name your number one favorite controller of all consoles. And then name your number one favorite accessory that you own. Bones?
NES controller.
Of course.
In the Steel Battalion.
That level?
Probably the PS2 controller. I have no clue for the accessory.
All right, no problem. Dan?
I said earlier, a 6-button control pad for the Genesis. or Dreamcast. The Saturn. Those are the two favorite controllers of mine. Accessory, yeah, I don't really have an accessory that I love, I guess.
MC Shark?
I would say the Xbox Series X controller, and my favorite accessory would be my Super Scope.
Argument.
Nice.
So my favorite console controller would be the GameCube, and then accessory. This one's a bit more out there. I found this complete by random. Found it at a swap meet, and it's like a 3DS case, but it's a little bit bigger. It has opens like a book, and it holds your 3DS and your charger and some spare styluses and like a whole bunch of games. So, and it has like Mario and Luigi on it. So that might be why I bought it in the first place.
All right, final question. Finally.
Yeah.
Wow.
What controller accessories will we see or will we need in the future? Does anybody have anything on that?
A thing to
The
strangle the
internet.
controller with.
What'd you say, Bargaman?
So I kind of was making a joke, but I'm gonna actually refine it a little bit more. I saw this fake video. It's like an inflatable thing that you put your controller on inside of, and then you put your hands through it, and basically if you throw the controller, it won't damage it. I can think of a few people that might actually need that in real life because I've heard of people putting their controllers through walls, throwing them through windows, and so something that you can just like take your aggression out on the controller without breaking it. Because obviously it's the controller's fault when you mess up. Obviously that's every gamer knows
Obviously, it's not your fault. Why would it be your fault?
Yeah.
Bones, you said the internet?
Yep, the internet for sure. Get ready, boys. The game companies are coming. You ain't gonna be able to do anything without the internet.
Oh, we have to be online to play or something. Is what you're saying?
That's
Yeah, because this is for future. I mean, that's kind of where we're at now. Most games you need to be logged on to their network to even play the game.
No more physical media.
Cloud-based, you know. Yeah. You just have your TV and a controller, then there you go.
I was gonna say this might already exist, but like wireless charging, does that exist already?
I think so in some cases.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I kind of respect my balls. I don't need no signals like that being sent towards them.
Anyway, on that note, podcast pickups. Dan?
Yeah, so for this pod, I didn't have much since last time, but I did pick up something, and it does fall into the controller category. This grip games. We talked a lot about this in the past on previous podcasts, especially with the Twisted Metal franchise of the month. This grip Tiger Games grip controller.
Wait, you bought this?
Yeah, you bought it.
Yeah.
Dude, Dizzy's gonna kill you.
That's the thing. I was hoping Dizzy would be here, but so you know, I had no idea how much this is worth, and actually, it goes for all over the place in terms of value. People, if you look at what people have paid for in the past. So my question is, how much would you pay for this? And also, Chris, you mentioned I don't even think this is a game. It's more like a toy. So, would you agree that this is more of a toy, or do you consider this like a real gaming accessory? Anybody?
I would pay not to have it in my house.
All right, so the more important question: do you feel this is a game or a toy?
A toy.
Bums.
Boy, man, we're really stretching it trying to call it a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's got it. To me, that's a toy.
All right. What was the other thing? Do you have any idea how much it's worth?
Well, I mean, like, how much would you pay for it? It's only worth as much as you'd pay for it. So.
Well, technically, it's worth what you paid for it.
Because it's old.
It's worth what you paid for it, Dan.
What?
It's worth what you paid for it. So
I'm not sure if it's worth what I paid for it.
What did you pay for it? Stop dancing around it.
$60.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
I can think of a lot of better things to do with $60.
But if you
I was thinking 20, maybe.
I was thinking $10.
Well,
we're a bunch of cheap asses.
Thanks for making me feel like I wasted a bunch of my money, but I will say it has gone for as cheap as like $20. It's gone somebody has actually paid as much as like $150 for this thing.
Oh,
but
that must have been an extreme Twisted Metal collector.
But there's one right now at 60, so I feel like that's kind of like the average price. If you want to go grab one right now, you expect to pay $60 for it.
No, I will refuse. I will. What's your question?
I mean, let's look at this back when this thing came out, right? Who was this designed for? The kid that didn't have enough money to buy a PlayStation to play Twisted Metal, or who couldn't rent it, or like this is the little brother that they couldn't play the PlayStation, but they got him this one so he could be, feel like he's playing with his older brother.
I think it's for the more for the parents to shut their kids up, but cheaply.
It looks like a photon gun, or
some kind of phaser. Or like a scanner that at the store. Jink, that'll be $20.
Man, I don't know.
But I get the novelty for it. I mean, Dan, don't feel bad that you purchased this. It's cool. It's not something that I would have in my collection, but I mean, it's something we talked about it a bit in the past. Dizzy was really big on it.
I don't collect those, so that's why I wouldn't have it. Like that, literally, I have enough shelf pieces to just be adding Tiger.
I mean, honestly,
that I know I'm not going to play is not really worth it to me.
Honestly, I only have 2 Tiger handhelds, and only have them because they were given to me as a gift because the guy knew I liked them. They're Power Rangers games, and surprisingly, they actually play, but I don't play them. They're just collection pieces.
It's funny, like those Tiger handhelds are becoming popular to collect though, because I see a lot of the high-end collectors who collect degraded games and all that stuff, they're also chasing down like all the Tiger handhelds for some reason.
What are they not going to chase down?
And let's be real here. They're probably gonna chase down underwear at some point.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the only reason why I would fathom even getting that is because I'm a huge Twisted Metal fan.
That's the thing,
Otherwise,
so
Yeah.
otherwise I
made-
wouldn't.
they made this for several games, like Road Rash, and that's easy
Yeah.
to find. The Road Rash one you can buy for cheap, but the Twisted Metal one is really hard to find. I think
It
that's
must
why
be
it's
a
worth more.
limited quantity for that one then.
Yeah. And like I said, I only have the 2 Power Rangers ones because they were like said given to me by my friend. But if they had not, I'm a big Power Rangers fan. But even if that friend never gave them to me, I would never get them, go out of my way for them. But they were given to me, so that I keep them as like a memory of that friend.
All right.
It would make a good prop for a movie.
Yeah. Pew pew pew.
It's the person who sold it. It had batteries, so like as soon as I got it out of the package, I accidentally pulled the trigger, and it came on and started beeping at me. I was like, wow, it still works at least.
Imagine though, like it's a prop in a movie. Earl, stop playing that thing and shoot him already.
Yeah.
Earl, stop playing with your gun. That's what she said.
On that note, game of the month. Bones, what's your game of the month?
Let's go with Ace Combat 3.
Wow.
Nice.
Dan?
I will go with the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which just came out.
That level?
Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
MC Shark?
Rainbow Billy.
Bargain?
My Sims Kingdom on the Wii.
All right, that concludes the podcast. Thank you, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, don't blow, just sleeve. Later.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Dang.
Peace out, everyone.
Bye.
All right, Bones.
If you're not first, you're last.
Dad level.
To infinity and beyond.
Dan.
I am here.
MT Shark.
Hey.
Bargain bin.
Don't be cocky, Bones. I could be first, so shut up.